Ain't none of it worth. Ain't nobody really serious. I leave her feeling delirious. Heavy is the head with the crown, that's why I'm the one that's imperious. Promise if you wanna step to me, we gon' find out which one is inferior. You do not want that experience. You ain't got enough experience.
Hey, welcome back everybody to episode 3 of In the Loop with Brayden Tomicic here with his beautiful Lamborghini Gallardo.
Hi, thank you.
So yeah, welcome on. We'll go ahead and just get right into it. Like in like 2 sentences, how would you describe your involvement in the automotive space? Like what?
In 2 sentences, I would say my involvement has been in depth and extremely entertaining, I guess.
Yeah. So I guess, to give the people some background, you are an amazing automotive photographer.
Thank you.
And you do work with a lot of like local, but also larger, like not local brands. Like what's that experience like?
It's been pretty interesting, like obviously it started off quite a few years ago, and the dream was to obviously shoot for the big brands and go do like, a lot of the fun, you watch like the BTS videos of shoots. I'm like, I just want to be a part of that, right? I just want to be on set. Like, I don't care if I'm the main guy. Like, that's just what I want to be. And anyway, long story short, it's been really fun. Like to see, or I would say this, to go from shooting like my friends' cars and then my car like 100 times just like to practice and practice and practice, to working with some of the most amazing clients and like brands in the world is not only like an amazing feeling, but it's also a very humbling feeling to know like it's possible and we were doing it,
Yeah, it's crazy how like all it takes is taking the right photo for the right person, and that's what opens doors. Like I found that in my career, but like I imagine that's been a similar thing for you, right? Someone just saw one photo and they're like, hey, actually, you want to come photograph this? And it just grows from there. Another thing you're involved with and you do is Throttle Therapy Club. Like, what's that about? What is it?
Yeah. So Throttle Therapy Club essentially is a automotive community that is really trying to make a difference in a few areas. One is we want to be an open, welcoming community for people to hang out, connect, have a good time, right? Like cars are a great equalizer that, you never know who you're going to meet, the friendships that will be forged, the experiences you'll have because of those friendships. So we really want to bring a lot of light to that, but also we have an emphasis with our nonprofit for men's mental health, because it's definitely an overlooked thing.
For sure.
We could definitely go into all of the topics and, the in-depth reasons of why I kind of went into it, but at its high level is we're here to give back to the community and provide experiences for people that may not exactly have access to them, but as well as just provide fun experiences, cool merchandise, I don't know, the full 9 yards.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just community, right?
Yes.
At the end of the day, like that's what we're all looking for, is people we can relate to, people that like on a some sort of base level that there's no need to communicate why we feel about something, that we do, right? And like they understand. So I think that's awesome. And so that's where you are today. Obviously, it takes a lot of passion to be that involved in cars and automotive stuff. Where did that start for you?
So it's funny because like everyone kind of has a fun and different story of, when that kicked off in their life. I didn't really truly know that I was as passionate about it till much, much later in life. But a lot of the passion and excitement started when I was a kid. So my dad's a mechanic, and, mostly by necessity, we grew up working on our own cars.
Yeah.
Especially because, if we could do it ourselves, why pay someone else to do it? But no, I just have always loved them. Like, between the car video games, like I remember my first video game that I ever played was on the PlayStation 1. It was Test Drive 5.
Okay.
It's such a bad game. It was
I'm like PlayStation 1 in general. Didn't that it didn't have thumbsticks, right?
Oh no, you had thumbsticks. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
You had thumbsticks. Okay.
Yeah, we had the normal controller-ish. So I think that was like kind of the first edition, first edition, I guess, of like what set the pace for PlayStation and their controllers for sure.
Yeah.
At least if I remember right. I'm not a huge video game guy, so don't
come at you. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I just loved cars in general. Like, I loved the sound of them, the look of them. You know, my dad, my earliest memories and even photos of when I was like a little kid, I was always in the garage with my dad. So I would say that's really where it started. You know, and then over the years, just between video games and just getting more involved into like the automotive space, it just kept blooming from there.
Yeah. That's like, I mean, I think that's a pretty relatable story. So, you know, you didn't realize you were super into cars until later. Did you have something kind of cool as your first car, or did you just make it work?
Dude, we just made it work. Yeah. I mean, we didn't have a lot of money, and like, it was, if I wanted my own car, I had to go out and get it myself.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when I was 15, 16, I was getting close to 16, I bought my first car. It was $100.
Hey, that's a man, in this economy,
it's a pretty good deal.
That'd be great.
No, it was amazing. I was very fortunate. My neighbor had this old, it was a 97 Toyota Tercel, had 215,000 miles on it. This thing was a pile, and he was going to take it to a junkyard because he's like, he knew that any dealership he took it to or whatever, he'd probably get a couple $100 for it. So anyway, we took it in, we fixed it up. It wasn't anything special, but for me, it was special in the way because in multiple ways. One is it kind of resembled like a little bit of freedom, right? Because like growing up, it's like you either walk or you ride your bike or you ride your skateboard like I did, and that only gets you so far, right?
Yeah.
Especially like in an hour, you can't go very far.
Yeah, especially when your mom's like, you gotta be back by this time. It's like, well, I'm limited. I can't go very far in a quick amount of time.
Exactly. And so like having a car was kind of that little access to freedom, and I could go kind of do the things I wanted to do, you know, go try to meet the people like, you know, that you in the movies you watch growing up. You're like, oh, where's the car meets at? What's going on? Like, well, again, like I was in a Tercel. I knew what I had, but like it was still, I wanted to go be involved in part of that.
Dude, it doesn't matter what your first car is as long as you love it, right? Like,
oh yeah.
And to be fair, I think the Tercels are cool. Just because like they don't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you saw one on the road today, you'd be like like a clean one or like one that's like at least taken care of. You'd be like, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, it was, mine was not that. It was the opposite of clean, but you know, it worked. I mean, it was a manual transmission. I knew I wanted a manual car, got good gas mileage. It was reliable, good old Toyota, right?
Oh yeah.
We did have fun with it though. You know, like I figured since I bought the car for $100, like, yeah, we modified the crap out of the thing. New speakers, subwoofer. I took a rattle can to like, just cause I didn't care. Like if I crashed the car tomorrow, it was $100. Like what's that to me? You know?
Yeah. No, 100%. And you know, it's just like you just did the high school special on it.
Oh yeah.
We've all been there. I tinted my headlights. That was my high school, horror story basically. Cause I was like, oh, blacked out headlights look cool, but I couldn't afford them. Spray tint from AutoZone.
Do the headlights still work all right, or is it like?
They worked. They were on.
They were on. Yeah.
They were on. You just get really good at like knowing the roads. Yeah. You know. But,
I was gonna say, because that spray can stuff, especially if you don't layer it right, or you know, I mean, in high school, like I did my taillights, and it was like you couldn't see anything.
I may or may not have had to wet sand my headlights back down to try and get some visibility.
Oh no!
Because that stuff you spray on, man, and it's it looks like it's just clear. So you're like, did I not spray enough on? And being a high school, you're stupid, and you're just like, I'll spray a little bit more, and then you know what? It's still pretty light. Let me just, or you know, it's not really even. Let me just. Oh, now it's got to run. Let me just kind of spray. You know, I can just, if I just spray a little bit more, it'll be really even, right? Yeah. Like more coats, like it'll even out. Yeah, and then it just turns pure black.
Yeah, so. And then your headlights are just there. It looks like, you know, like when they put like the black covers on like where the headlights are supposed to be on like the race car.
Oh yeah.
Is that what it looked like at the end?
Oh yeah, dude. And it was already British Racing Green, so like we were there. It was a race car.
Oh, you were there. What car was it?
It was a 2000 Volkswagen Cabrio.
Oh no
so
way.
Basically a convertible Golf.
There we go.
That was A move. The doors did not like the work anytime I took a girl on a date, so that was a fun time in high school.
Oh no.
Just, it would always work for my buddies. Second a girl gets in, door doesn't work. She's got to climb out the top.
Oh, for real?
Every time.
Oh man. Hey, but
was
good
cursed.
story though.
It was cursed. But so you have the Tercel, you're enjoying life as a high schooler. When do you think that transition where you realize you were in the cars more came? And then like, what actions did you take because of that kind of realization?
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, in high school, I think that's where it really kind of kicked off more because now it was at some level accessible, right? The hard part is obviously as a high schooler, you're focused on school, trying to get ready for college or whatever in life. And so like my time was dedicated to friends and sports and all that. And the unfortunate part, and I wouldn't even say unfortunate, but a lot of my core friend group at that time weren't into cars. I was pretty much kind of like, some of them appreciated it, but none of them were like, this is what we like doing.
Like the high school in the cars in the sense of like, oh, I have a car and like I can go take a girl somewhere or like I can hang out with my buddies. Like that level of car enthusiasm of like they're just excited to be able to drive.
They're excited to be able to drive and like they know like when they see a cool car, right? They're like, oh, that is cool. But like it doesn't go much past that, right?
Yeah.
At least from what I remember. And so I wasn't really able to be as involved in it as I wanted to be. I mean, kind of had some friends that were in it, but where I think where it really kicked in full-fledged was right after I graduated, right? Because friends went on, missions, friends went off to college. I wasn't doing either. I kind of went to college at that time, but I was like focused on working and kind of figuring out direction in my life. And long story short, I, got a little bit more into the scene. And so when I was able to kind of step aside from that group and have a little bit more time, I was able to branch out and find those people who liked doing what I did and had the same interests and were going out and, spending their Friday nights either working on a car or going to a meet or racing, whatever.
Yeah, like finding that community, right?
Exactly.
So you have an opportunity to do more car stuff. What was like your first like obtainable cool car that you like?
I would say the first obtainable like cool car, at least cool in my mind, was I got a 2005 Mustang. That was my first car.
Okay, sweet.
That was a dream car of mine from when I was a kid because I'm an American muscle boy at heart. Like I love the classics. I've always loved the 60s Mustangs, Camaros. My mom had a Firebird when she was growing up.
That's sweet.
Which is really cool. My dad and his brother, they had a 69 Camaro. Like, I don't know, American muscle was like where our heart was, right?
Yeah.
It's funny because my dad was like, you could tell he was an American muscle guy because he would see like a Honda or he'd see like someone rolling past in a Tegra and he's like, let's rice rocket,
Yeah.
So
not,
anyway.
not me. A guy who's owned 4 Integras.
Oh, there we go.
It couldn't be me. But
I love him. It's just funny because, he's the V8, no replacement for displacement, doesn't sound like a trumpet. Like that's him. And so that's how I was raised, right? So that's where my passion was. And anyway, I loved that car because when I was a kid growing up and seeing the old Mustangs, it was the first time since like, in my opinion, 71, I think was the last year of like that really cool retro style Mustang, that it actually looked like a Mustang. Like I didn't really like all the years in between, especially at that time. And so when I saw that 05 to 09 range, I was like, oh my gosh, like this looks like an American muscle car. That's what I want. And anyway, so that's what I got.
So I think those are what, the S197s?
Yes, sir.
And then, so you didn't like the Fox bodies, you didn't like SM95s.
Not at that time.
You didn't like the Mustang 2, it sounds like.
Yeah,
that would be just after 71. So they finally bring back like the OG Mustang looks, and you're just like, that's it. That's the car.
One. Yep.
So, so you get that. I'm sure you loved it for a long time.
Oh yeah.
How does that transition to here? Like how do we go from, guy with his awesome Mustang to, car photographer with a Lamborghini?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I have such a love and a passion for not only like the automotive space as far as like, we have a passion for cars, obviously, but ultimately like a love for the community and like what it can do for you. Because I came from Harriman. We was born in Sandy, and in Harriman, like we didn't see stuff like this. Like
Yeah.
I remember the first like supercar I saw was at the International Auto Expo, which actually is going on right now, which ironically.
Yeah, you got perfect timing.
Yep. And you would see like the Ferrari California, or you'd see like the Ford GT, which the Ford GT, in my opinion, was like the coolest like overall supercar ever.
I think it's still one of the coolest. Like
Hot take. I've driven a lot of cars, and we can talk about that too if you want. But I think, in my opinion, the Ford GT is one of the best driving mid-engine cars you can ever buy, hands down.
Well, we're talking like the 05, like
05
when they
to
brought it back.
06. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've heard it's also one of the most reliable sports cars in general.
I'll tell you what, that experience was exhilarating. And then I didn't get to experience it until a couple of years ago with my good friend, and he let us take it out. And I'll tell you what, like that changed my world. It was absolutely insane car. But yeah, I mean, it was hard because, like, going back to your question, a lot of those cars were kind of what I would call the unobtainium, like, especially with kind of the path I was going down at that point. The wages I would receive for certain jobs I was looking for weren't vindictive of being able to provide your ability to access that, right?
Yeah.
And so, for a while, like I was always just like, that would be really cool to own. Like it was the daydream, like it was the poster, and you're like, I'm gonna do this.
This is the aspiration.
Yeah, like I'm gonna do this. I don't know how, but I want it.
Yeah.
And anyway, so to kind of put it all together at a very high level without going on too long of a rant, it was just honestly meeting enough of the right people in the scene, really asking great questions, creating some amazing friendships. And what that did for me was provide perspective on what I needed to do in life to be able to go from like a Mustang to the Lamborghini. And obviously there was quite a few cars in between, right?
For sure.
Had a few daily drivers, I had a Maserati, I had an R8, and obviously I bought another Mustang in that time frame too, and we got to here. But it was just, I think the biggest aspect was, especially doing photos of these cars, was understanding that they were tangible, they were real, we could touch them, we could feel them, I could hear them, see them. Yeah. And you meet the people who own them, and then you figure out what they do, and you're like, oh, it's not easy to obtain them, but it's not inaccessible.
Yeah, it's hard work, not pure luck, or like, you don't need to be born with a silver spoon to like.
No, exactly.
There,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like with enough hard work and determination, it is possible.
It is totally attainable. I mean, dude, there was like, I remember one of my good friends, Nate. I remember he was like 18 at the time. I think I'm 2 years older than him. I was 20, and I had my Mustang still. And I was looking at getting another car, and he had an R8. And I'm like, dude, how the fetch does an 18-year-old have an R8? And then you look at the price tag and you're like, oh, like, okay, between 50 and then 70 grand. You're like, that's still really expensive. And like, that's also an expensive car to maintain. And then anyway, you start to meet him, and we got connected. And then I was like, oh no, I can do this. And then next thing I know, and then the next couple of years, I bought my first R8.
Yeah, which is like, again, it's just like that perspective. I can go on a whole rant. Perspective is my favorite subject in anything, whether it be business or like religion or literally anything. Like, perspective is the most powerful tool to work for you or against you.
100%.
And so like changing your perspective is what changes your reality.
Yeah.
Right, like if you don't have the perspective of like this is possible, you're never gonna believe it is. You're never gonna do the things that you would need to do to actually get there because you have no motivation. There is no like, well, I that's too far off. That's too far. Like I can't reach that. Like, and so you just don't.
Exactly.
Right.
It's almost like you prevent yourself from getting there before you even have a chance to show to yourself that you can. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can't get that. Well, then you'll never get it because in your mind, you've already decided you can't. Like, so why would you take the actions or the steps to go do that or even find out how to do it? Because it's not like it's super difficult. Once you kind of done enough of the right steps, you got good income coming in at some level, like it's totally possible to obtain. And I think people kind of like stop themselves before they give themselves a chance to understand actually how obtainable it can be.
Yeah, and especially if you just do it right, like financially, like, and you like I did car sales for years, and so one of the things people never take into account with their budgeting is like repairs and things like that.
Yep.
Like they're like, it's not easy.
No.
But like if you do it right, you're not gonna get burned on it, right? And you're gonna have a lot of fun, and it's not that hard to get. Okay, it is hard to get there, but it's like it's not impossible to get there.
It's not impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
And ultimately perception is reality. Like however you perceive you can get there is how you're gonna get, you know what I mean? Like it's
100%.
But yeah.
And it's kind of nice to like, especially, and I feel like I kind of had a cheat code to gaining a lot of that perspective being a photographer. Cause obviously, you know, you guys know this just as well as I do, you hold a camera and you're providing value by, hey, we'll do this video, we'll do some photos for you, we'll provide this. You have it a way within your own hands in this little machine to provide value for people, and you can get into almost any room. And so I was like connecting with people who have made really well for themselves, done really well, you know, have good money, and I get to have a conversation with them. And I get to understand who they are and what they do and what their mentality is and how they've gotten to the point where they've got, because like obviously these are the cars we want.
Yeah.
So like, and most people didn't just wake up and go, oh, if the money's in the account, let's go do it. There's obviously a small group of people that are like that, but most people had to work their way up. And anyway, it was really interesting because, you know, having access to that, being able to have those conversations and be in those rooms because we're providing value for people, I think was kind of the ultimate life hack in providing that kind of perspective for me.
Totally. And I could say that this is a moment like that, right? Like were we not doing this show, were we not doing this conversation may not have happened, right? And so like cameras open doors, but also just like for people that aren't, you know, camera people, just going to car meets, like for example, we have Utah Cars and Coffee. There's so many people with these types of cars that show up. Go talk to them. Like I think people feel like, oh, they're like, they have this, they don't want to talk to me. It's like, no, go ask a question. Like go be genuinely interested. People want to talk about their cars and talk about themselves. So like, if you want to have those conversations, literally all it takes is asking a question, or like literally just ask anyone about themselves and they'll generally start talking.
Yeah, totally. So, well, and especially if you have like a true good intention of connecting with them and you're actually interested. Like if you see a guy in a Bugatti and you hate Bugattis, don't go talk to that guy. Like, I'm sorry, like, you know, because it's not going to be authentic. It's not going to be real. If you're like, hey, this is a cool car if you hate this car. Now, I don't know anyone who hates Bugatti, so that's
I don't know, borderline. Volkswagens.
Borderline?
No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, hey, this is...
Hey, man, I was a Volkswagen kid when I grew up, so...
Fair enough.
But yeah, don't talk to the dude in the car you're not actually interested in, right? Like because you see, oh, he's got a nice car, I could go talk to him. Like, but no, like someone's like, oh man, I love this generation of Lamborghinis. I love the sound. I love like how raw they were because they weren't as like techy and like, yeah. You love that? Great. Talk to the person who owns it. Like they're gonna be down to chat.
Yeah.
Like,
and the thing I've noticed too, and what I love about the automotive space, and I'm sure this is very similar for other hobbies, but I can really truly speak for this, is cars are the great equalizer. Like it doesn't matter if you pull up in an Integra or if you pull up in a Lamborghini, if you have a true genuine interest and you know you're not a douche, you can pretty much meet the craziest people in the world in all walks of life. And then you know, you never know what opportunities that might come from, or friendships. And like, to me, that's why I love it. Cause it's like, you know, you look at my friend group and it's like, you know, this guy's got a GTR, this guy has a Subaru STI, this guy has this, and it's so vast. Like I'm not just hanging out with Lamborghini guys. That does get you in that door.
Yeah. But it's like, the other thing too is like, even though you have this, it doesn't mean if someone handed you the keys to like some modded up Integra, you're not going to go have fun in that.
Oh yeah, no.
Like that is a fun car. Like,
absolutely.
And that's like, so going back to being an equalizer, it's like the thing you're looking for is enjoyment. Yes. Right. That's why people are in the cars, and you get enjoyment from so many different things. And like, this is probably not getting enjoyment to go work on it, pain in the butt. Right. But like some people, that's what so it's like, that everyone's in it for enjoyment, right? It's ultimately a hobby. Even people that like do it professionally, like part of that passion is that they just enjoy doing what they're doing, whether that's sales, whether that's, work, mechanic work. Like there is some level of enjoyment, right?
Yeah, totally. You got to have some sort of like good feelings and fulfillment from it. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're able to be here. This is an incredible car. Just to get started, while we were trying to reverse you back in, it obviously was a little bit of a pain in the butt to get it in here, but I'm so glad you're skilled at being able to do this. Tell me a little bit about the vehicle itself, like what did you do any modifications to it? Just what is the car itself?
Yeah, totally. So it's a 2013 Lamborghini Gallardo. It's the LP 560-4, and it's the final edition. So that's why the front bumper looks a little different. The rear bumper is a little bit different. For those who know, it's the same front and rear bumper of the Squadra Corsa, which is really cool because those cars were really rare. They are some of the most beautiful cars as far as like the run of Gallardos, but they're also like 300 grand. And so to get a very similar look from factory and not have to spend 300 grand was awesome. Yeah, LP 560-4, so 560 horsepower, all-wheel drive. Yeah, it's as far as modifications, the fun performance style stuff is obviously we did suspension, so lowering springs all around. Because you could go and spend the extra money, but bang for buck, you really don't need to. So lowering springs, we did a custom titanium exhaust from Darkstar, which is really sick. That I'll tell you what.
We talked to Jeeves, dude. He's legit. Yeah, Darkstar is amazing. So yeah,
dude, it's an amazing company. Steve, who's the guy who builds them and scans them and designs them, like he's gangster. Like, it's the best investment for this car, especially because stock exhaust was not bad, but
it wasn't also a symphony. Yeah.
No. Totally. There's so much to uncover, and there's still so much to uncover on this. If we did headers and got rid of the cats and all that, but
absolutely,
my neighbors would hate me. As far as things that are not factory that we upgraded, I upgraded the paddles, carbon fiber shift paddles, the Superleggero wing, just because the wing that comes on is all right, but I like that little extra. And it was an ability for me to put in a reverse cam, which if you've ever sat in one of these things, blind spots are a real thing.
Well, I was looking at your B pillars and your A pillars. I'm like, dude, those are huge. Like that's like Tesla level. I cannot see around.
Oh, dude, there could be a bus right there and I wouldn't see him, Totally. It's so bad. So having the reverse cam was like kind of a necessary upgrade, and so I wanted to do that. And then like little things here and there, but other than that, it's pretty much factory.
That's awesome. So as far as like driving and user experience, what's been your favorite part about driving this Gallardo? Like, obviously most people don't drive these in Utah in general. You see this on the road, and people are like snapping pictures of you going past you on I-15, avoiding potholes. But what's it like driving this car?
Truthfully, it's just a raw, visceral experience that I can't explain. Or at least I'll try to, since you asked. I don't know. It's between the sound of that V10, the way it handles, the way it grips, like it's unlike any other car that I've experienced. As far as like from what I've owned anyway. I've driven a lot of other cars, and there's a lot of amazing handling cars that are much better than this. But I just love it because it's so raw. Like, I wish I had the manual. I don't really think they made a manual in the final edition. At least I have never found one, especially because they only made 300. But, the E-gear is still a blast. Like, it's raw. It throws you around. That single clutch hits hard. And I don't know. It's unlike anything else. Like, you sit so low to the ground, especially like when you sit in it. Have you guys sat in a Gallardo before?
No.
No? Okay. Well, you guys got to after this, because literally like you get in and then your butt sinks like 2 or 3 more inches and it feels like it's about to rub against the ground. Like, it's insane.
You're like basically like riding against the pavement almost. Yeah.
It's wild. So it's like, I'm in an adult version go-kart on the freeway and going through canyons. I don't know. It's just like, it's such an amazing experience.
What's it like trying to avoid speed bumps with this? Because obviously you I'm looking at your front lip clearance. I'm like, I'm not sure necessarily how that goes, but
yeah, that's like my fist. And I don't have big hands. I've got kind of girly hands, but it's not very good. You have to pay attention for sure. I mean, especially any entrance or exit. If this thing didn't have front axle lift, I'd be toast. Like, Utah is not ideal for a car like this, especially to lower it. Like, it was low factory, but like now with the springs,
yeah,
it's
That makes sense.
It's a pain.
So, I mean, I want to kind of pivot a little bit. You're obviously an amazing content creator. Your Instagram and South Valley Photo, all of those things, incredible work. I want to kind of talk a little bit more of your side of it as being a content creator.
Yeah.
What's it been like working with all these brands? Like, what's been your experience? Because you've built up what is my version of what I'd call a production company, working and creating incredible content for American Racing Wheels and all these different brands. What's that been like? Like, what's kind of been your flow? What's been your experience with that?
I mean, truly, like, the experience is something that is exciting. You kind of look back at it and you're like, did that really happen? Like, these are the moments I dreamed of, and they kind of happen, and you're so enveloped in the moment where it's sometimes you don't really get to fully take it in until you've sat down and like you think about it and you're like, oh yeah, no, that was pretty cool. Like, I don't know, it's crazy. It's stressful. It's exciting. Obviously working with some amazing brands. Like in the last couple of years, I've worked with Porsche, worked with Dodge, American Racing Wheels, a bunch of other racing or wheel companies. It's something that feels surreal in some ways, but also it's just kind of the grind of it. So in a lot of ways, I'm just like, all right, we got to get the work done. It's, there's a lot of planning and precision that goes into it to make sure I can produce a product that they're expecting that's going to help fulfill their needs. Yeah, I don't know. It's cool when you think back on it, I think, to sum it up. But in the moment, it's almost, you're just so focused on the work and doing a good job that
making a product. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't sometimes the gravity of what you're doing and who you're doing it for doesn't really sit in.
Until, you get into Lightroom 3 or 6 months later when you're like trying to archive stuff. You're like, oh wait, I did that? Okay, that's pretty incredible. Yeah.
No, for real. Yeah.
That's really cool. Do you have like a specific memory or like an experience that stands out to you? You've obviously been doing this for a very long time. Has there been a project or something you've worked on that was like, obviously you mentioned the Ford GT, and I'm not sure if that was related to a project or if that was just a homie being like, hey, here's the keys, and you're like, oh, $550,000 used car. Okay, let's go drive it. That's cool. But with that, do you have any like stories or anything that really have been like really pivotal of like, wow, that was incredible that's happened to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. From a photographer's experience, one of the coolest moments was I worked with Porsche at the end of 2024, running into 2025. They're updating a lot of dealerships nationwide, and so they wanted some new artwork and just wanted to photograph some really cool and unique cars that spoke to their heritage. And so I had the pleasure and honor of being able to photograph some of the craziest cars Porsche has ever manufactured in the most beautiful places. We took a brand new 911 ST out to the Salt Flats. Obviously, we didn't do anything crazy because, it's
don't get it stuck out there. Yeah.
But like just being able to have that experience in such a crazy location with this car, and then knowing where the artwork's going to end up at is really cool. Which also led me into being able to drive one of the 3 Holy Trinities, which was the 918, and being able to experience that car and photograph that. Like, those are certain memories, I think, as far as like being from a top photographer's experience that just stood out amongst everything else. I mean, there's a bunch of others, but like most recent, I feel like that's one of the fun ones. And then just from a car owner experience, I'd probably say just some of the situations I found myself in because of owning the car. Being out at the Salt Flats a couple years ago, they had a Cars and Copters, and there was like 3 helicopters, and we had all these crazy supercars, and we're doing like, it's a full content day, like, but I also got to experience it not only as a content creator, but as
a driver.
A driver.
Yeah.
And to me, like, it was so cool because we had, helicopters 20, 30 feet above us. We're all flying, driving down. Yep. Man, there's a ton. Like, truthfully, I'm very grateful and blessed, but I could go on.
That's incredible. I love to hear that. I wanted to pivot a little bit. Devon talked a little bit about Throttle Therapy Club, and I want to get a little bit more into that. It's like, how did that start? What was the vision for it? It does make a great impact, obviously, other than just having incredible soft, sweaters and stuff like that. What was kind of the vision behind that, and what's the motivation behind it? Yeah.
So, I mean, inherently, like, through my teenage years, like, I think everybody at some level, you go through the motions, and, life just kind of hits you hard, right? I feel like we've all experienced pretty hard situations. And so, for me, my release from all of the hardships and things that I was going through were cars. If I ever felt down, I'd go hang out with friends. And even if it was like for a couple hours, you know, it took my mind off of everything else. And so the community behind cars, you know, cars were obviously a great time, but also the community was something that helped me get to not only where I'm at right now, but also just through those tough times. And so really, like, everything I have right now, I can attribute to that. And it's a way for me to give back. There's also, to kind of get a little bit deeper, if you guys want, you know, I'm married, we're having a kid here in this next year. When my wife said she was wanting to have kids, there was like a moment in my head where I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm supposed to love and take care of another human being, and I'm still even trying to figure out myself and figure out how to love myself. And so, you know, I kind of went down a rabbit hole of figuring out ways that I can improve my mental and physical well-being and, you know, just become a better individual, become more confident, be happier about who I am. And anyway, throughout that whole journey, I just realized that cars and the community behind it were such a, what do they call that stone and like a, you know, like the stone arch, like the, what's that center?
It's like a headstone. Not a headstone. It's like a, what is it called? Can you help? It's like, it's not a cornerstone, not a headstone. It's like the top block.
Keystone, yeah.
Keystone, yeah.
Dude, Keystone, geez Louise.
That's okay.
It was kind of the keystone to it all, and it really helped keep everything in place. And so when I recognized that, I was like, man, if that did that for me, there's other people that I know it could be that for, or be that for them. And I wanted to be able to provide opportunities that give that to them. You know, along my journey, I realized how expensive it can be to, you know, kind of get into the mental and health side, as well as, you know, trying to be a car enthusiast. You know, that's not a cheap hobby.
Double whammy, yeah.
So anyway, it was like, hey, I've made cool clothes before. I want to incorporate that because it's a way that we can help kind of fund that. Obviously, we have our nonprofit side. And so, yeah, that was kind of my journey leading up to it. And that's why I want to try to make the biggest impact we can, because that's what it's done for me.
Absolutely. So yeah, with that, it kind of made me think back. I'm like, you know, I'm a 20-something-year-old thinking back. I'm like, oh yeah, when I was like 15 or 16, I did a very similar thing. You know, anytime, you know, you get really angry or frustrated or just overwhelmed, I'd go out and drive. At the time, I had like this beater 2005 Corolla Sport.
Hey, Sport.
Dude, hey, you know, that spoiler gave that extra like 10 horsepower that actually didn't exist, you know? So, but I do remember, like, I'd go out on drives, and it was one way I cleared my head. I guess one thing that I've recognized is over the time growing up, maturing, you know, going through different cars, it's like, sometimes I wish I could go back and tell myself that it was going to be all right. You know, if you could go back to, you know, that younger version of yourself and kind of tell them everything that you've accomplished, or what would you actually say? What kind of advice or encouragement would you give? And the reason I ask that question is more, maybe not so much for yourself, but for someone growing up that still figuring it out. Obviously, this could be their dream someday. What does that look like? What kind of advice or encouragement would you give them?
I would just tell them to, like, just try things, figure out what you really love, and then go for it. And then in the same token, be a person that is willing to try anything to an extent, right? Anything good. Obviously, there's a lot of things we probably shouldn't try.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, don't do drugs necessarily. But just go out and experience life. Don't be afraid to try new things, because I think a lot of people put themselves in a corner or a box where it's like, well, that's scary, so I'm not going to even do it. It's like, no, you'll never know if you love it or not. It's like a new food or a new, you know, experience. Like, you got to go out and try. And for me, that's a big piece of advice, even for myself, because growing up, I was always that guy who was scared to kind of go out and do new things, or,
you know, maybe a little bit more of like reserved, like you probably just wait rather than jump straight into things.
Yes, exactly. Very reserved until I realized it was either safe or it wasn't as intimidating as I thought it was, or whatever. So I'd say try new things, but also just learn. Like, whatever you want to get into, go ahead first and just learn as much as you can about it, and be a student of that thing that you're interested in.
That's amazing. I love that. To wrap things up real quick, there's a couple of hot takes that I want to get into. I want to hear what your favorite car manufacturer is, and then what is your least favorite car manufacturer, just from from the things that you've tried versus just being like, oh, I hate Kias because they're dumb. Like, no, obviously there's reasons behind what you might like or dislike. What's kind of your preference?
Yeah, so obviously like favorite overall car manufacturers, Koenigsegg. They have been since I was a kid. I mean, when they had the first CCX, it was in Fast and Furious. It was also just like, I mean, again, I'm a Ford boy. It was a Mustang. They used a lot in their early cars, Ford blocks.
Yep.
And then I just loved, I'm a little bit of an engineering nerd. I'm not good at engineering. I'm not good at math, which is why I didn't go down that path.
Sure.
But like, I have an appreciation for it. And I've always loved that brand because they push the bounds of your typical engineering. Like, you see a lot of automotive manufacturers, they rely on other brands' parts or manufacturers who've kind of already created a product. And so they're essentially just
kind of like Frankenstein things together.
Yeah, they're Frankensteining it together and putting like their own flair to it, which I think is still great, right? Like, I mean, this is a Audi, Volkswagen, Lamborghini, like
big, collaboration project almost.
Yeah. But like Koenigsegg is truly like one of a kind. It's their own.
Bespoke. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I love that brand. I love what they stand for. I've met Christian and his wife a few times, and they're just amazing people. So like I truly stand behind who they are, not only as a brand, but for what they do. And their cars are insane. I mean, it's stupid. The fact you can buy a 1,000+ horsepower manufactured car, with the new cars, 2,000 horsepower, it's like, that's stupid.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's insane. Like, especially, coming from an era where 300 horsepower was a lot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Where they're like putting restrictions on, trust me, it's not 300 horsepower. It's like,
yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
100%. I'd probably say from least favorite manufacturer, I mean, dude, it kind of goes everywhere. I have an appreciation for all cars.
Maybe I should reframe the question of like, what are some industry trends that you're not super appreciative of, like things that are going? Obviously, everyone's electrifying everything. That's a hot take in and of itself. But
I think electric cars are not the future. I think hybrids will be. I don't think the gas motor will go anywhere anytime soon. Between the combination of AI and the resources and infrastructure that needs to go into that, and then just the things that we have to do as in our infrastructure, I don't think electric cars are it. And I think it takes a lot of the emotion and excitement out of vehicles. Sure, you can get up to 60 in less than 2 seconds, but my microwave cooks a burrito in 30 seconds. Doesn't make it any better than if I were to like do it a different way. So I would probably say my biggest thing is I hate electric cars, which I know is kind of a common thing for automotive enthusiasts.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of like, I don't know. For me, it's all about the emotion. It's like cars have personalities, and when you take out all that away, what are you left with? So it's just another piece of metal that gets you from point A to point B.
You're basically driving an iPhone. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No personality.
Man, as far as like car trends also that I really hate the design of these futuristic like render. I think a lot of the manufacturers right now are doing these like crazy rendered design cars. Like Ferrari is, I don't know what crack they're smoking over there, but it's stupid. It's almost like the cars that we're seeing nowadays came from some crazy, 3D render program, and now they're manufacturing them. And it was cool in concept, but
yeah. It's like the Ford GT90 back in the day with all the geometric designs. Like, that was cool as a concept car. Why are we driving them on the street right now?
Yeah, dude. Concept cars are one thing, but why? No, I think some of them are just stupid.
You're just like, what are we doing here? Yeah. What are your thoughts on the industry moving towards just for like daily drivability? I'm not sure if you daily drive this or not. That'd be incredible if you did. Yeah, but
I mean, I've put a lot of miles on it. I've owned it 4 years. It'll be 4 years this year. Put 30,000 miles on it. So.
Yeah, that's definitely more than like I drove it like 1,000 miles and kept it in the garage. So like that's incredible. But where I'm going with that is like, have you noticed? I mean, I've noticed a trend. A lot of manufacturers are putting larger profile rims or wheels on them and just like really low sidewall. I just think that's interesting because I'm like, you can't put that on like a Honda Pilot or something and call it a day. It makes sense on something like this where you need a little bit more performance or cornering, but I feel like that's one thing that the industry is doing a lot. It's like putting these really big sport, TRD Pro or whatever, upgrades on all of the cars that you're just like, guys, it's a Civic. Like, you know, and it's not even like a cool Civic. It's like just a regular Civic.
Here's my hot take.
Look at
Okay. So, because I agree, that's an interesting thing. It's interesting that you observed that. Yeah, because that's, I mean, dude, you see some of these newer cars, especially sports cars, and they're coming with like 22-inch wheels.
Yeah.
And like, you know, the rubber.
Yeah, you hit a pothole or look at a pothole and you don't have a wheel anymore. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
especially here in Utah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, you not. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say. I think that standard consumer cars have too much tech. I think people don't have enough responsibility in their driving, or don't feel enough responsibility, or don't take it seriously enough, because you have lane assist, you have adaptive cruise control, you have all these things that basically drive the car for you.
Auto emergency braking, even in some newer cars. Yeah.
Which is great. And I think it's amazing from a safety standpoint, but you almost need to give people still enough risk that they can be attentive.
They can actually take the fact that they're driving 70 miles an hour in a 4,000, 5,000 pound car.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a serious thing. Like, cause you hit a wall going that speed, you're toast. You hit, you know, someone, you T-bone somebody, like the amount of injuries and things that can come from that is very serious, which is why I love the analog side enough, because you have to just focus on what you're doing.
You're fully present.
Yeah. Because I think the iPads that they're putting in these cars, and
putting a giant island of a touchscreen on everything. Yeah.
Dude, do you know how many people I see because of lane assist and all these different, you know, new technologies? I see people literally scrolling on TikTok or watching movies as they're driving down the road, as if that's not entertaining enough or serious enough.
Yeah.
To me, I think that is destroying our ability to drive. Now, ultimately, I think that we will have, because of Tesla and what
just
they're doing,
autonomy generally. Yeah.
we'll have a lot of autonomy, which will help in that sense. You know, because again, daily driving is daily driving, and
getting stuck in I-15 traffic coming down from the point of the mountain still sucks no matter what time.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But even then, that's because people don't know how to merge, and that's dude, I could go off on that. But I think as far as car trends, I think we're adding too many safety features and too much technology in it that people don't take what driving is seriously enough, because it is a serious thing. Like you said, going 70 miles down the freeway in a 4,000 pound vehicle, a hunk of metal essentially, like that could mean the difference between life and death for a lot of people, depending on the situation.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, just to wrap up on time, I got one last question kind of to bring everything together. And I just blanked. So we're gonna have to try it again. So to bring everything back together, obviously it's been incredible to have you here and be able to talk a little bit about the car. From the perspective that you've seen as a content creator, as someone who actually owns an exotic vehicle, drives it quite a bit, not just your garage princess kind of car, right? Where do you see the future going? Like, are you optimistic that things like this will still exist, that there's going to be more? Will there opportunity still be here? Or do you think we've really hit the last golden age of performance-oriented cars that are actually going to be accessible, that aren't going to just be autonomized and available?
The way I look at it is, I think there's seasons of different things, you know, both in the automotive industry to now. I mean, you look at like our dad's eras, right? From the 60s to today, like in their mind, anything that has any kind of technology that's not run by gears. If it's got a CAN bus
built into it, it's not good. Yeah.
Exactly. Like that's true analog. If you ask like the generation before us, in my mind, I'm optimistic about it. I think there's enough people, especially if we continue to do exactly like what you guys are doing and sharing the stories and showing people that like this is an amazing community to be a part of, and we have the enthusiasts out there. I 100% am optimistic that the future is very bright for cars like these. What makes me nervous is the different social agendas behind it, and then people going too much with the trends. We're already seeing that with like a lot of, these hybrid assists or fully electrified like supercars. But I see a lot of people pulling back from that. And so, whatever the next season is, I think will be amazing. They'll include something insane or crazy. But I definitely do think we are in a pivotal era in the automotive space where we're going to see some drastic changes over the next 20 years. Both fully autonomous daily drivers to performance cars and what that looks like. So I'm optimistic, but I'm also, I think it's going to be very different landscape here in the next 10 years.
Absolutely. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming to spend some time with us, and I hope to see you out on the road.
Heck yeah. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank you.